trying to fight the demons in my mind. I'll prevail with every battle if I'm right. Guess my aim was off, the target's out of sight. Would I be better if I left it all behind? 'Cause we could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way, we could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a We could find a way. Just take my hand. We'll leave this place behind. No second chance. I know there's more to find. 'Cause we could find a way. We could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a way. We could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a way. Find another place where we can just escape. We could find a way. We could find a
Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of Lake Talk. My name is Bub. I am joined by Zen Zero, Philly, and Brave today. How you guys doing?
Yo, ecstatic, happy to be here. It's been a little long overdue. I could be wrong, but it feels like it's been a good minute since the last podcast, so I'm happy to be here with you guys.
I'd agree. It's been a hot minute, but we're here now and we got some exciting news. For those who don't know, today we've talked previously about our events within Great Lakes CRL. We have a tiebreaker for the first time ever for the Spring Major, and we'll have a best of 7 right here, right after this episode ends, between Ohio Northern University and Michigan State White. Philly, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm excited to be making my Lake Talk debut. We got a great series afterwards too to look forward to. So it's going to be a jam-packed hour and a half or so here.
How about you, Brave?
Oh, I was last minute call on. I feel like a substitute player on this podcast, but no, it's been good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having this Lake Talk episode, and then hand it off back to the production team so that you guys can tackle that tiebreaker and bring the best entertainment and experience to our viewers and the players so that they can find out who is going to go to the spring major.
It's always an exciting time, not only when you have close series determining who's going where, but it's a best of 7 for those who don't know. When we do our tiebreakers, it's best of 7 rules, so these two teams also have a timeout in which they can use. And if we go into a little bit of a preview, if you'll allow me to for just a moment, Ohio Northern, Philly, you've known it, and Zen, you've been here and you've seen it all year long. They have consistently been to events. But this Michigan State white team just kind of came out of nowhere here in the spring, and they have definitely made a name for themselves and put up a fight as we get towards the end of spring and get ever so closer to that Season 2 championship in Indiana Tech.
Yep. And it's everything's on the line, right? And that's why I love that it's a best of 7, because these players are going to be leaving everything on the pitch essentially, and sometimes a best of 5 and definitely a best of 3, it's just not enough. So I'm excited that it's a best of 7.
Always an exciting time, but we'll go ahead and get started and talk. What are we here to talk about today? So the first order of business, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. Or a former now player, I guess, in the room in Cam. He has since qualified for RLCS Open Qualifier 2 in North America, which does mean that he is no longer eligible here at Great Lakes CRL. But again, a huge congratulations from everyone here to Cam. We'll talk about him today. We'll talk about the spring major and the implications it has for LAN. And then we'll talk about the tiebreaker event today, as well as Brave has something special he's been cooking up in his.
I do.
His maze
real quick
mind.
though, Bub.
Yeah.
Can we get the music turned down just a tad little bit? It's a wee bit too loud.
You got it.
Our viewers can't really hear us, so we'll get that turned down for everyone a little bit.
How about now? We good? I hope we're good.
I will let you know, but continue.
Right.
Yes, we have a very interesting topic coming up. It's a segment that we're bringing that hopefully is a good entertainment for y'all, but that'll be a nice little surprise. So once that time comes, we'll announce it. But Bub, I had the good green light. You are good now.
Fantastic.
And the music is good to our audio, so you're good.
Awesome. Thank you. We are working with a little bit of a new music system here, so bear with us while we adjust throughout the day. We have a new playlist. We're doing things a little differently than we normally would, and I just want to shoot a quick shout out to DJ, one of our community managers, for putting that playlist together, because it is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, we'll talk about Cam real quick. Obviously, a huge congratulations for him to qualify for RLCS. And I guess we can kind of go over his journey. I know, Zen, you've probably followed him a little bit closer than I have, but his time with Jubilee back in 2021 all the way up to now his time with Leftovers in Columbia College. It's been an absolute roller coaster for Cam, and all the hard work eventually pays off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a player that a lot of people have had their eyes on, and I'm sure that it's a big sigh of relief, especially from the Oakland players, the Siena Heights players, and probably everybody in CRL that he's able to go pro, because it's been Cam and Columbia domination pretty much since they've been in there. So as I said, it's probably a bittersweet moment for a lot of players. Obviously, we're very proud of him. We know he wants to take that next step, but the sweet part of it is a lot of the players don't have to worry about seeing him on the other end of the pitch anymore, and that's got to be a big sigh of relief.
So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about, I guess, his timeline and how Cam got here. So according to Liquipedia, I will make that disclaimer right now during our research. We know everything on the internet is always 100% accurate and
yes,
true to everything that you can see. But from September 2021 to November the same year, he was He was with Jubilee. That was with Lemon Puppy and C Money, and he was able to get top 6 at top 6. My words aren't coming out well either. At Rocket Street, I know, right? Oh my goodness, Rocket League, Rocket Street goals for change.
Get there.
There we go. We got there like the 15th try, and then in June of 2021, that was when he first started with Columbia College. We can talk about his achievements, obviously, here, winning Great Lakes CRL Fall Minor 1, 2, the Fall Major, and Spring Minor 2 with Cryptic, Excelst, and Gusky, any combination of those players. He currently holds the record here in Great Lakes CRL for the most amount of events won with those as well. He obviously won Great Lakes CRL, the Western Conference with Cryptic, Cosmic, Flippy, and JD. He won the national championship with Cryptic and JD as well. And then spring 2023 in CRL, he also won the West there with Cryptic and Cosmic. And then he transitions. Now we transition to his more recent teams he's been on, Homies, which was a team that he's had for a while with, I believe it was Wellis and Hazo. And then he had Omar as well on that team at one point. Top 11 in Appjack's The Bubble. Top 8 in Hercules' New Era. I believe that was the original New Era, not the new era that happened.
Yeah, not the new.
Yep. And
the new era after that era.
Yes.
Right.
And then the Draw 1, he got top 16 as well in there with Wellis and Omar. And then he transitioned over to Kamoka, which was a team that was not that long ago, January 2024 to January 2024. He was really only there for about a week, Sen.
Yeah, and that's a squad I've actually got to cast for, and I've got to cast for Cam and Taroko in 2's tournaments as well, and it's players that the whole time I'm scratching my, I'm saying, how aren't these players picked up by bigger squads? I mean, you can see the talent, you can see the dedication, and I was surprised that, as you said, it was a very short time. But we know they're all buddies, so I know there's no love lost, anything like that. But yeah, that's I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit better. I know they did qual, but I was expecting a little more. But I think we'll see big things to come in this open qual too.
Yep, and then obviously his time with Leftovers, which we've just now seen, that has pretty much caught all of Great Lakes' attention. I can't count the amount of times Josh and I have looked in Star GG during qualifiers and gone, "Where's Cam? How's Cam doing? How's Cam doing?" I mean, we're watching other players from our league too, but obviously
there was quite a few.
Cam.
There was quite a few players on the watch list for sure. Each and every open qualifier this split, because obviously if they qualified through, they would no longer be eligible. And I think a couple names on that list were definitely Peep, Cam, Gusky, right?
We also saw Cornbread as well.
Cornbread, right? Yeah. Byra, Skies, Luca. Obviously, Rochester is taking a leave, but we still had to make sure we're watching all those players because they were definitely making a push. So we had to make sure we were having them on our watch list. But Cam finally made that push, so congratulations.
Yep. So again, that does mean roster changes do come in response to that, and Columbia has since made those roster changes. I believe they called Excelst back up from Columbia Silver, so you'll see Gusky, Excelst, and Cryptic on Columbia Silver, or on Columbia Navy, and Columbia Silver will have Samba Giyu. I did find the pronunciation finally for his name. It is Giyu. And so I apologize, Giyu, for calling you Gayu for the last however long the season's been going, but we get it right. We got it right today. But yeah, that's the Columbia Silver roster will have Giyu, Zerx, and Samba in response to the dwindling depth there with that Columbia team now that Cam has moved on. So
he says dwindling depth.
Yeah, I know,
there's
right?
still going to be both crack squads.
Did you not see the most recent colleague poll with the players? I mean, the Columbia College is literally top 15.
Hey, I mean,
players are top 15.
I'm just saying, technically, the depth is not as deep as it was.
That's true. That's true.
It doesn't mean it's not deep.
You lose Cam, but everyone still moves up another roster level, so they're still there, man.
Yep.
They are still competitive.
Yeah.
Technically, all right, though. It did dwindle, especially with the best player, I would say, in Great Lakes CRL leaving. That's still going to be huge, but I wouldn't be surprised to still see them be the best squad. But I tell you what, I guarantee Oakland and Siena Heights, licking their chops right now. Yeah, exactly, because they know, with Cam off the pitch, it's very possible for them to dethrone them now.
I mean, I don't want to name names because I don't want to name drop anybody or provide any false information, but I did hear somebody say recently that both those schools were like, hey, we've got a shot now. We've got like a really good shot now. So I think a bunch of these players are suddenly like, hey, we got a chance at the Spring Major. We got a chance at LAN. Suddenly the excitement is there towards the top. And obviously we've seen the top 4 be an absolute bloodbath in Great Lakes CRL this year, but that grand final, it's always felt like Columbia has been like a step or two above whoever they face, whether it's Rochester or the 5 times they face Oakland. But
Michael Jordan finally had to retire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what's crazy is the few times that it wasn't, that they weren't a full step ahead of somebody, it was their Columbia Silver Squad. That was the one, that was right there and actually able to beat them. And if I'm not mistaken, they're the ones that took the Spring Minor 1.
I believe so. Yeah,
they took it over
we had to finish some payouts, so I can guarantee that I do remember. And I'm pretty sure that was the team because I had to do it not that long ago. They were the winners. So, but I mean, I guess I just compared Cam to the greatest of all time in collegiate. But Michael Jordan stepped away.
You want to compare
for Great Lakes CRL?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, you want to compare him to this league, he's definitely one of the greatest to ever step foot in our league. So, again, huge congratulations to Cam. But, Philly, you've kind of been just sitting here quietly. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, I think it's important to note and how big of an achievement it is to make top 16 in NA. To talk about that, I wanted to point out the 2 times that Cam didn't make it this set of opens, Open 1 and Open 3. They were 1 game away in Open 1 and they lost to OG in that final one. OG, of course, being a top 4 team in NA going to Copenhagen.
Yep.
And then in Qualifier 3, they were 2 games away, losing to Shopify. Also, Shopify had 1 top 4 finish in Open Qualifier 1. And that team has Justin. I mean, we're talking about Justin here.
Yeah.
So to be those 2 teams that have the ones that had to keep Cam out the other 2 times, I think that just shows how hard of an accomplishment it is and how great it is that he finally took that final step to make top 16.
Yeah, and I think it comes down a lot to the format as well, right? Because it's kind of crazy that you get knocked down to the lowers by a top 6, a top 8 team in NA just to face another top 8 team from NA. So I think if the format was, because a lot of people aren't very happy with the RLCS format, this most recent Open Qual. So I think if there's some tweaks to those, they make top 16 every time.
Double Elim is brutal. I mean, I don't think I need to say for anybody who's ever played in a double elim bracket, any of the formats we've really seen for that RLCS has used, none are easy. They are all incredibly difficult, and especially best of 3 for 2 days, I believe it is, and then all of a sudden you have best of 5 against NRG, Shopify. If you're in Europe, you have Moist, K-Corp, It's brutal when you get to day 3, because day 2 for a lot of these teams, getting to day 3 is like a big accomplishment for 80% of the people who are trying to get into RLCS. So
probably more, even more than that.
So it's like, and then next thing you know, you're up against G2, you're up against Shopify, M80. It's like, oh my goodness.
There was one time a wise man or an unwise man told me that day 1 was free and then lost in day 1. I won't name names, but this is a story I heard. A man went to RLCS and he said day 1 is free and then proceeded to lose in day 1.
Hey.
Won't name names.
Hey.
It starts with a D and ends with a J.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's wild. I didn't even know that story. I'm learning this story live. But.
And in chat, DJ recognizes that I definitely know who he was.
always love to one of our community managers here, man. He's fantastic.
Can't even defend himself.
Yeah, I mean, to suddenly, I can't remember which pro said it. I think it was Reddles in one of his videos recently. He was talking about the qualifier format, and he mentioned, nobody, even the pros, don't want to go down into lower bracket because, to quote him, it's scary down there. You don't know what's going to happen. Look what happened to Shopify. One bad series led to one bad day.
And then same with
moist,
TSM,
Go ahead,
I believe. Same thing with TSM, I think in open quals 1 and 2, they end up dropping to lowers they shouldn't have, and then they have to, play a crazy crack team down there, a top 6, a top 8 team, and those nerves are on the line. But not just that, we're as fans looking at this screaming, why in the world are there two top 8, top 12 teams playing in the lower bracket right now? It's crazy, and obviously one of the teams have to go, and I can't remember what exactly it was. I want to say it was Shopify and Squishy's team both had to play each other in that lower, and it's like, one of them's going home, one of them's not gonna make it, and it's not only scary, it's almost crazy how this, and I think it had a lot to do with the seeding. I don't think they did the seeding very well this time around, and hopefully they're able to, kind of tighten that up.
Yeah, I mean, seeding is always one of those things, especially when you have 800 plus teams signing up. So you obviously know who your top 16 are likely going to be, but determining those intricacies is it's such a tall task, and they're doing the best they can, obviously. So.
Yeah, but when 3 or 4 of the top 16 teams, are in that same bracket, they all can't make it.
Yeah,
it's just impossible.
That is
you
true.
know what I mean?
That is absolutely true.
And
Go ahead, Philly. Go ahead.
It doesn't get any easier with Swiss. I mean, we saw it this weekend in Europe with top Cougars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going, they had to play 2, 3, 4, and 6, I think, in the 5 rounds of Swiss. So it's tough. It doesn't really matter what format. All of them, they're all designed to get down to the best team. So some teams are going to lose earlier than they should, probably, but it's the best team keeps going.
Yeah, the best teams still win.
It's almost painful in Swiss, I feel like, if you're close to top 8. Like, you're right there, you could trade with another team. Because you'll always feel like going out of round 5 or whatever round you get eliminated, and one little change, and you never know what happens. Swiss is absolutely brutal, but everybody loves it from a viewer standpoint. It's the most popular format for a reason. It works well with Rocket League, so...
Yep.
Transitioning a little bit, Zen, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the spring major coming up here on March 23rd and 24th, 5 p.m. Eastern, by the way. Make sure you tune in. We'll see you guys then. But Zen, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so super excited for it, and I guess I would like to open up with kind of continuing what we were just talking about. I'd like to get everybody's thoughts on this. With Cam, leaving, this really opens it up. I think we're gonna see Oakland, and not to say they're not always trying, because I think they're always trying. I think that at some point they were mentally beat by Columbia Navy, and even if they were peaking that day, Columbia Navy were playing bad. When that matchup came up, we already knew what was gonna happen, right? So everything's up for grab. The questions are, is Columbia Navy still going to be that top squad, which we know with that roster they certainly can be. Would not be surprised to see them take the win there. And then we still got Columbia Silver up there, of course, as I just mentioned, Oakland, Siena Heights. So yeah, this major is gonna answer a lot of questions, I think, and kind of draw some lines in the sand, if you will. And then of course we still have the Davenport Red up there, the Western Michigan. It's going to be absolutely crazy, and I want to know, again, what your guys' thoughts kind of are. I think Oakland is going to take. That's going to be my big bold prediction. I think that this is when we're going to see Oakland, take this major, and I believe it. And of course, I think they're going to have to go through Siena Heights and Columbia College, obviously. But I think with this, with them, losing Cam, I think this is Oakland's time.
Philly, you wanna start us off with what your thoughts are?
Yeah, I mean, the way the major format is, being top 8 is huge. You get that extra life, since we're doing double elimination bracket with 9 through 12 starting in the lower bracket. But it doesn't mean it's easy. We're talking about Columbia, both Columbia's, the 1 and 2 seed. You got Western Michigan and Siena Heights filling out the top 4. And then that's the series I think that's going to be the most interesting. Siena Heights, Oakland, 4-5 matchup, seeing who's going to go to the lower bracket early. And that's just going to be an unfortunate result for either one of those teams, because those are a top 4 team. You feel like, and they're going to end up playing each other because Western Michigan's kind of came revitalized themselves in the spring after a lackluster fall.
Somewhere JTV is squealing in delight that we're talking about Western Michigan being right back in the picture. But no, you're absolutely correct. Western Michigan, especially there in the spring, when they beat Siena Heights, I think everybody went, "Oh, this team's about to go on a run." And they even took Columbia Silver to task there for a while before Silver ended up inevitably taking over the series. But yeah, Western is definitely not a team to count out. Brave, I know we have you cooking some stuff up later. Do you have anything you want to reveal to us right now about the major? Or you want to wait?
I'll wait. It's going to be a very interesting time when we wait. We just wait it out.
He's holding his peace, ladies and gentlemen.
just wait to hear. It's going to be crazy.
I'm actually going to go a different route. I think we're going to see a much closer top 3 between Siena Heights, Oakland, and Columbia Navy. I obviously don't have the bracket up, so I can't see exactly who can finish where based off brackets, but I'm going to say we're going to have a Columbia and a Siena Heights grand final this time around, and I think Siena Heights is at least going to be able to push Columbia to 7, and we'll see how it goes from there. I've always been a Siena Heights truther. You can look back to the first time they played Columbia Silver, and I was the only one on the panel that called that playoff match. I think that was Fall 1. I'm going to continue to be a Siena Heights truther here and say this is their shot. Aside from that, I know, Brave, you had some things you were ready to cook up. Are you prepared to go out of pocket?
Oh, I am always prepared.
All right.
He said he stays out of pocket.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new segment we're going to be doing here on Lake Talk. Brave, out of pocket. This is basically a hot take. Brave, it's your time. Cook up.
Okay. All right. Well, considering that I heard what you guys had to say, I don't know if it's going to be that great of a hot take anymore, because it's kind of falling into like I guess a generic situation. But if we just look at the spring split here, I think that actually we're going to probably see, with Cam leaving, there's going to be some inconsistent play along those Columbia College teams. I think that we're not even going to see Columbia College in the grand final. I think we're going to have 2 brand new schools in the finals, because I don't think there's going to be that cohesion and everything that they had with Cam. Because you saw Cam in that last event that we had, he was feeding his teammates, absolutely just feeding them. So I think we're not going to see a Columbia College Silver. We're not going to see a Columbia College Navy. I think they're not going to make it. They're going to make it far, but they're not going to make it far enough. I think you're going to see probably like a Western Michigan versus Siena Heights, or a Western versus Oakland, or an Oakland versus Western, Oakland versus Siena. Or maybe we'll have a sleeper like Michigan State University just come barreling through the bracket and just finding their way in that final. So I think that for that spring split, I think you're not going to see a Columbia College in the finals. But hey, I guess hashtag prove me wrong. Columbia College, if you're in here, prove me wrong in that. And then if we take a look at our overall standings for what's probably going to roll into land, yes, I have Columbia College. They're already secured. They can't not. Oakland University already secured. They cannot not make it, so they're coming. Siena Heights, I think you're still going to hold that spot. Like I said, you're probably making the final. Columbia College Silver, you're pretty much, I think, you're only 5 points away from taking that. So I mean, you just got to win one series, and I think you automatically clinch. Davenport, you have a tight race with Western, Indiana, Michigan, and University of Kansas, Wichita State, Davenport, and Ohio. Depending if Ohio makes this tiebreaker and they win, they actually get into the major. It's going to be a tight race. But I think our 8 that we see is Columbia College, Oakland, Siena, Columbia College Silver, Davenport, and then I think Western for sure makes it in there. And I think Indiana, you're going to get surpassed by Michigan State University. And I think that's going to be our top 8. I don't think we see any of those outside 4 making their way inside. So Indiana, Michigan, I think you're going to flip your placing. I think Michigan, you're going to be 7. Indiana, you're going to be 8th. But we all hope to see everyone there.
Man, if the IU boys were here right now, I don't know if they are, but they're going to see this at some point, and I think Brave's going to get some DMs at some point in time. You mean to tell me that the team that's done nothing but finish top 8 all year long, literally, aside from the fall major, they've always finished top 8, is not going to end up being one of our top 8 teams.
I think he still said they're going to be top 8.
They're going to be
number 8 instead of 7.
They're going to be number 8. You guys are going to be
they're
scraping the barrel into the way to land. You're going to be like crawling your way up there, but you're going to make it. But you're going to make it an 8th spot. Time to take a drink out of my average-sized water cup.
And I'll say, Jar won't be too happy because we got Kansas right there. I mean, they just need to, dethrone, take one spot away to get into that top 8, and we know, he'll obviously be cheering for his boys.
I think that gets rid of my segment, though, Bob. I think my out of pocket is out of pocket. I think I'm gonna get some either hate mail or DMs, or the community chat's just gonna be roasting me or whatnot. But that's my hot take. And now real quick, I do see that Jimmer has joined the Discord, so I'm not sure if that is moving forward or what's going on there. But I did want to point that out before we keep going. Mm-hmm. But that is my out of pocket segment. So.
Yeah, why we figure out the Jimmer situation? I want to kind of elaborate on what Brave was talking about with Columbia. They've had a lot of roster turnover already.
Yeah.
I think Cam, like Brave said, he was the anchor for that team. He held that team together. You could plug and play any of those guys with Cam, and Cam made it work. He's just that good of a player. He's that adaptable. But when you take Cam out of the mix, I think Brave brings up an interesting point. Are they going to have that cohesion without Cam? How much are these guys playing without Cam? Because GLCRL is I believe the only collegiate tournament at this time that is disqualifying Cam as a pro. So all of the other competitions, Cam is still on that Columbia Navy roster. So
right.
How much are they actually playing without Cam? How much are they practicing? And that could come and impact them as we get into, for sure, the major, potentially LAN, even though they do have more time to figure those things out. And the major may be a bit of a wake-up call to them. What are you thinking, Zen?
So I have to agree with you. I think he's that glue. I think when he's able to, consistently beat 2 players on the pitch, sometimes even 3, it almost doesn't matter who you put in there with them, right? As you kind of said. And this is, I got kind of a question for you guys. So that silver squad, you also have to wonder how much is that going to be affected, because they've always had either Gusky or Excelst. Am I wrong on that?
For Columbia Navy?
Anybody know? No, for silver.
Yes, they've always either had Gusky or Excelst on that roster.
So now, not having one of those 2, very, very talented players, who knows, what that does to silver. I mean, we know they still have a crack squad in Samba. You said Gayu and Zerx. But yeah, not having Gusky or Excelst, it's going to be tough for him. So, as Brave said, I don't think it's an extremely hot take. I wouldn't be surprised either way. Not to play the safe route, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised to still see the Navy make it to the finals. But I have to agree. We have some teams absolutely foaming at the mouth now, knowing that the major is certainly winnable. LAN is certainly winnable, and we didn't really mention that Davenport squad, but we could see them. We know when they get hot, they can beat anybody out there. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of a hot take just because of the history, but when you actually break it down, look at the roster changes, spotlight that Cam won't be there, I don't think it's a lukewarm take once you do that.
All right, well, on that note, I think, Zen, we've got a special guest here, Jimmer from Michigan State White, also the head coach of Limitless, I believe. Jimmer, if you can hear us, how you doing? I think. Wonder if he's not allowed to talk.
Looks like he's muted right now.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
My apologies, guys. I was watching warm-ups there. Keep myself muted. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Of course, and so welcome in. Love having you here. We know that unfortunately who is supposed to interview is sick, so I'll be stepping into that place. And yeah, we got some questions for you today. You know, first of all, good luck, but we're gonna get straight into it. And question one: what sets Michigan State's esports program apart from others in terms of training and supports for its players?
Honestly, like this is my first year here at Michigan State, but I've been nothing but impressed. Right, I've had like 6 years around the pro scene. I was part of some bigger orgs that had the overhead to do some really great things, and honestly, Michigan State has like exceeded expectations in every way, shape, and form. From the top down, Chris Bilski, our program director, is just doing an incredible job. He really has attention to detail, and there's polish from the top all the way down to like the finer details.
Nice. I like that. And, you know, the finer details sometimes can be overlooked, but, you know, a lot of times that's what it takes, and that's what can kind of set squads apart. So another question for you. Can you describe the recruiting process for Michigan State? Notably, we've observed your acquisition of talent from our summer showcase with players like Otbom, Ugadam. What specific attributes or proficiencies do you prioritize when evaluating potential candidates?
I mean, for me, it's about passing the eye test, right? Like if I see guys that are like competent players, and I know that like they have a pretty good understanding, right? Like Bracket League's neat because everybody is their own coach for so long.
Yeah.
That like it can be very difficult as a coach to come in and say, all right, well, you've been doing this way for thousands of hours, but now you're going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. So I'm mostly looking for people who are competent, like who I can tell have an understanding of the game and are interested in being students of the game. And from there, it's a matter of conversations. And when I realize that like this person is someone that I can work with, this person is someone that gets me, this is someone that like we can spend time watching replays, talking about the game, breaking things down, and we have some sort of alignment. Well, then I know that I really truly have somebody. And like obviously you guys have seen some of those recruits of ours out on the field. They're certainly capable. I think they check all of those boxes. So that's a huge chunk of our recruiting process. I think even beyond that is just, you know, seeing how you perform under pressure. So going to like the MHSEL stuff is awesome. I love to see it.
I got it. So it's initially, you know, they got to pass the eye test, and then you chat with them, make sure that you guys click. I like that. I think that's very important and something that can be overlooked sometime in the recruitment process. People just say, hey, this guy's so cracked. We got him. It's in. That's it. You know, and they don't make sure that not only they click with you, but that there's going to be chemistry on the squad. So I like that. I think that's a very smart way of going about the recruiting process. With the rise of esports in college athletics, how do you balance academic responsibilities with the competitive gaming? I know that's got to be tough.
You know, it's one of those things that even at the pro level, right? You get some guys that maybe aren't even done with high school yet.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I want to do this full time, and I'm like, hey, you know, that's awesome, and I want you to do that full time.
Right.
But like, I'm older, right? Like I'm ancient, and
us too. Don't worry.
that doesn't last forever, right? So what are you going to do beyond that? So for me, the way that I like to go about coaching is helping my students or helping my players develop a skill set that they can take into the real world and compete in whatever it is that they do. Whether that's just being really good at your job, whether it's growing your own business, whether it's executing on different aspects of your life. I'm going to give you tools you need to say, okay, I'm doing it good. How can I do it great?
I like that.
So there's a balance there, but like school's always the priority, right? Like at the end of the day, if you don't pass your classes, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're not going to be able to play for me.
Yeah. And that
So-
kind of forces that balance, and I like that balance is forced, because if that wasn't there, I'm sure we would see a lot of players just kind of not worrying one bit, staying up all night playing Rocket League. As soon as they get up, Rocket League. And of course, that's what it takes, especially if you want to go beyond CRL and go, pro, which a lot of these players do. So yeah, I love that. And obviously I think, preparing them for the real world, because as you said, it's not going, this isn't going to be everything. Some players are gonna go pro and they're gonna be able to kind of take that into content creation, whatever, and maybe that's their career for the rest of their life. But that's gonna be the very small minority. Most are going to eventually have real jobs, real careers. So I do love that. The design of an esports jersey can be a point of pride for teams. How do you feel about Michigan State winning the 2024 Best Collegiate Esport Jersey, and what led you to choosing those designs?
So admittedly, I wasn't necessarily a part of the process, but I am a huge fan of it.
Nice.
In terms of winning, not surprised, right? Like I'm not. It's a great jersey, and it's hard not to love it. I did see some other ones that were like I really liked, but like the way that our program is developing, and like we not only have jerseys, but we have like jersey hoodies, the joggers, like the whole line's coming, and it's great, right? It's all stuff that like I look at and I'm like, yeah, I'd wear that 100%. I wear that out in public. I wear that just hanging out around the house. I wear that to events. And I've got a fair collection of jerseys and stuff now, and this stuff is really top tier in my opinion.
Nice. It kind of goes along with the same eye test we spoke about earlier. It's like, will I rock it for the team? Of course, everybody's going to wear their jersey, but when you genuinely would rock it in public, as you said, or just hanging out with the boys, going out to dinner, whatever it is, you got something special. Because sometimes, I won't point any fingers or anything, but sometimes it's like, I'll wear it on stream, I'll wear it when we play, but you wouldn't catch me dead in it outside of that. That's lucky you guys have a very dope jersey. So here's a big question, and this is one we're all very interested in. Having the history of being a professional Rocket League head coach, how does that contribute to the development and success of the players within your program?
I think that sometimes it's just about having that sage wisdom to say like, hey, I've been here before, like we're okay,
right? This
is fine, like and not being overwhelmed by what's happening. It can be a lot sometimes. I've had an opportunity to work with like a plethora of really good pro players that all bring a little something different to the table, and I feel very fortunate to have that kind of exposure, because I get to see a bunch of different ways that it works, and I can tie that to people, right? I can see little bits of former players in all of my current players, and like a really great quote that has always kind of pushed me in coaching is by Mike Babcock, and he says, life is about maximizing what you've been given. So being able to identify those little pieces of like gold that people have and being able to help them shine in that regard is like awesome, right? I feel like my experience really helps lead these guys to greatness.
I like that. And so it's a little bit of a combo. One, it's the experience, it's being there. We talk about that all the time, especially at the pro level, that it's one thing to have the talent, it's one thing to be under pressure at that level and be able to still remain composed, pretty much. So just doing it, having that experience. Of course, sometimes you'll have that 1 in a million that is composed even though he doesn't have the experience. But I love that. Having that experience is huge. And I really like what you said, finding each individual quality and pros of each player and being able to kind of highlight those. How do you handle setbacks or losses within the esports program, and what strategies do you use to bounce back and keep the team motivated?
Honestly, like setbacks and losses, that's a mindset.
Yeah.
We don't lose, right? Losing is the absence of gain, right? So if we learn from our losses, if we learn from ways that we can't make a light bulb, so to say, then like we are moving forward. That's forward progress. So losing sucks, and it's a guarantee that anytime two teams take the pitch, one of them's going somebody's got to bite the bullet. But like if you don't lose until like you choose to gain nothing from it. If you learn, whatever, like it's part of the process. So we don't really worry about that too much at Michigan State. We just keep looking forward and say, how can we do this better next time?
I love that. That's kind of the mindset that I kind of try to apply to life in general. So I love that, and that's a great answer. And I guess that kind of answers is a double question, right? And it was like, what strategies to bounce back? I guess there's that kind of answers it as well. As that's the bounce back, is the learning from that, is saying, hey, let's watch replays and see, or whatever it is, and that's the bounce back. And the handling the setback is one and the same right there, and I love that. I absolutely love that mindset. And last question for you. Like I said, can't thank you enough for your time. Looking ahead, what are the long-term goals for Michigan State esports, both competitively and in terms of overall growth and development?
Sure. I think that for our program, I think personally, my goal is to develop a Rocket League program here at MSU that people see as like the destination, the go-to place. Like, I think some schools have like really, really great firepower, but I think those can be flashes in the pan in terms of long-term growth and development. You have good players, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have a great program.
Right.
So my goal is to be like a feature destination for high school students moving into college and saying, hey, this is a place where I know that I can grow and develop and have really great skills overall. It's also a place I know where I can go and compete and like be alongside some of the, like, making the team here means that you're literally the best that we have to offer. So my goal is really to create that sort of environment. And then I think that everything else is a result of that, right? If I make a good environment for people to be in, where they can compete and feel like they are contributors towards something great, that will make something great. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to do well. So as long as we put a bunch of like-minded individuals together and are studious about what we do, everything else falls in line.
Yeah. I absolutely love that. I have to say, I'm very impressed. I'm glad. I shouldn't say that I'm glad that originally who was supposed to interview you is sick. Definitely not glad at that, but I am happy to have the opportunity to kind of have this one-on-one with you and get to talk with you. I absolutely love your mindset. I see why you guys are having success while you've been we said 6 years now. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for answering the questions. I'm going to give it back to our host, but before you go, we'll see if anybody else has, any questions, anything else they want to say. But from me, thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm really, I feel fortunate that you guys asked me to be a part of this, and I'm happy to do it.
Of course.
All right, Brave, you got anything you want to ask Jemmer before we say goodbye?
No, I don't. I just think appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to meet with us and take an interview. And it's not only is it informative for us, but it's also informative for our viewers and also for potential Rocket League coaches that are looking to get into the scene, or really any coach that's looking to get into the industry. It really brings a level of, hey, like, I really like this mindset, and maybe I could even reach out later and pick his brain some more to see exactly like how can I be the best coach possible for the players under me that I'm trying to develop and grow to be the best person they can be, even outside of sports. And I think that's also a pinnacle of coaching, is making sure that these players are really studious and upstanding citizens at the end of the day, even outside of sports. So again, just really appreciate the time, and hopefully hopefully to see a good outcome for Michigan State in this tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's almost a mental coach and head coach wrapped in one, and I love that.
Billy, you got anything?
No, I don't think I can say it any better than what Brave did. He summarized it, and Zen did a great job summarizing throughout the entire video. So all I've got to say is thank you for your time, Jimmer.
Oh, it's my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
One more question for you before we say goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you guys winning here in the next like 5 minutes when we start? Who you guys?
Well, he just said they don't lose, or they're winning regardless.
Winning mentality, baby.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, Jimmer. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon, and good luck today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, on that note, we are going to go ahead and take a quick moment to transition to our Spring Major Tiebreaker, the main event for today. We'll be back in just a moment when we're ready to go.
Rocket League.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero.
My mic wasn't working there for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spring Major Tiebreaker. I am joined by Zen, Zero, and Philly, who will be casting this upcoming series. And I don't really know what more there is to say. We kind of all spoke about it on the podcast. Again, join us on Lake Talk. We'll be going live more often, doing stuff like that, especially as we get closer to the off season. So, Philly, Zen, I guess for a moment we can talk about the like our predictions, right? And then I'm ready to jump into this.
Yeah, and I'm sure the players are ready to go. I after it might be a little biased, but after getting a little insight with Jimmer and getting to talk to the coach, I think I have to go with Michigan State White. I mean, I just don't see when you have that type of leadership behind you. I have to believe in that, and I think that this is even, right? This could go any way. That's the reason that we're at this tiebreaker, because it's that close. So I'm gonna go with Michigan State.
Yeah, I think I've got to give the edge to Michigan State White as well. Just looking at the two spring minors, they both finished in the exact same spots. That's why we're here. Like Zen said, it was a tie, but Michigan State White had a bit better of a performance in the Spring Minor 2 than Ohio Northern did. So I think Michigan State White might be in a little bit better form. Bob, what do you got for a prediction?
I'm just disappointed that you guys are both going towards Michigan State White. You guys have no respect for consistency. And Ohio Northern has been here all year long. Yes, Michigan State White has had a fantastic spring so far, but Ohio Northern's been here all year. So, yeah, I'm going Ohio Northern. Aside from that, are you guys ready? You guys ready? Are you ready?
We're ready to get into it.
I hope you're ready, because I know I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick this off to Zen and Philly, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this tiebreaker matchup.
Let's go. I'm excited for this one. A best of 7. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. We got Ohio Northern in the blue, Michigan State in the orange. Of course, we got Brandini, Silent, and Doc J over in Michigan State taking on Uncle Stin, J-Rup, and Kip Elysium.
Yeah, it looks like it will be Silent and Kip going for the kickoff here based on the initial spawn formation. Looked like a bit of a planned play there by Michigan State White trying to win possession off the kickoff, and they do. Zen getting an early shot on goal, passing to Silent. Silent's gonna find one inside the post, and Michigan State White up 1-0 here just 10 seconds into game 1.
My goodness, Doc J with that great field awareness, absolute dime right there. But can we talk about that slot from Silent? I mean, if that was a millimeter to the left, that would have been off the post and out. But what a way to get started, and we're just showing, Bub, that just how correct we are in our prediction, right?
Yeah, back and forth we go. Uncle Stin with the chance, going to be saved away by Doc J. But so far, it does look like Michigan State White, like you and I predicted, Zen, have the early edge here. Doc J with a pre-flip to interrupt J-Rup's dribble. J-Rup off the corner wall, able to go under Silent. Can't get over Brandini, though, and Michigan State White continues to pour on the pressure.
And I believe I see as Doc J's not going to let me talk at all. Brandini with the dime. Michigan State just coming out firing. But what I was going to say, Uncle Stin rocking the Meta Boost, I believe. He's got the, the lawnmower, the grass cuttings. And I tell you, I cannot stand the sound of it. But I get why they use it, right? Because it's almost invisible.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit harder for the defender to know how quick you're going to get to that ball if you're boosting or not. Does the player have boost left? Silent coming off the ceiling, though, trying to prevent us from being able to talk about boost. Doc J to the backboard. Brandini loses a 50, actually, here as Stin's able to get the clearance.
Yeah, that was a big dunk at the midfield there. Nice save from Doc J. Doc J immediately transitioned into the counterattack. Kip is able to get in the way of that, though, and right now Ohio Northern stuck down. Silent thought he had an open net, but couldn't get much power on that, so an easy clear away from J-Rup. Now he goes the other way.
J-Rup quickly gets to the ground, picks up the big boost, but is not able to challenge Brandini until the ball's already back at midfield. Ohio Northern not able to find any offensive pressure here. It's all one chance and done, where the other way, Michigan State White is hemming Ohio Northern in at times, Zen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we see, when all you're able to do is kind of, as we just seen there, little pot shot, 1 and out. That's not going to do it. We have to see the teamwork. We have to see, the overwhelming pressure that allows putbacks and second chances. And that's been the difference. But, Buck did bring up a good point, and that's the consistency out of Ohio Northern. So I fully expect them to kind of lock in, make the proper adjustments. And, I mean, they're obviously still not only in the series as it's a best of 7, but they're still in this game as well. But it's getting away from them as another team play. All 3 goals assisted here. All 3 members of Michigan State White picking up a goal here.
Yeah, Uncle Stin just not able to hang in the air long enough to get a piece of that to keep it out. So 3-0 here just before halftime for Michigan State White. And we didn't really get a chance to talk about it here, Zen Zero, but this is these 2 teams' season for the GLCRL on the line. Winner continues on with a chance to make major potentially at the spring major, make LAN at the spring major. But the loser is done for the season.
Yep, so a lot at stake here, and you have to wonder, oh my goodness, as Brandini looking to dime up Doc J right there, you have to wonder, how much are our nerves into play, and how long will that last? And I want to rewind to the last possession for Ohio Northern. We actually saw Kip with a very creative pass attempt coming off the backboard, and that's exactly what we need to see more from them. Again, we can't just see these one and out pot shots. It's not going to do it against a squad that's playing and performing like Michigan State White is right now.
Yeah, good to see a demo come out there from Stin. Like to see Ohio Northern try to get a little more physical. There's another demo coming from J-Rupp as we bring it up. Try to get this Michigan State White team out of their rotation, lose some boost. That ball's going to bounce awkwardly and going to be hammered home there by Kip on the goal line.
And couldn't have come any earlier from Ohio Northern. They have to chip away at this lead. Down 3-0, I mean, you don't want to get shut out ever. So even if they end up losing this game, that little bit of a consolation goal, if you will. But still 90 seconds left. They chip away a single insurance goal now for Michigan State White. We'll see if this allows Ohio Northern, to grab some momentum. But Doc J picking up a big-time savior medal right there.
Yeah, absolutely. The timing was perfect. And Brandini says enough about timing. We are going back up 3 here in game 1. Ohio Northern got their chance, and we're going to try and close this game out strong. Michigan State White back to a 3-goal lead, 1-4, just over a minute to go, Zen.
And we have to talk about Doc J here. I mean, my goodness, 100% goal participation, 1 goal for 1 shot, so extremely efficient, 3 assists and 3 saves. So picking up a playmaker and a hat trick while going 100% on his shooting. I mean, that's the type of teammate you want on the pitch right there.
Yeah, Doc J just dicing up the Ohio Northern team with the infield passes, finding his teammates pretty much every time he looks. The pass is connecting. Even if the shot doesn't come through, it's a good pass. So looking really good. Brandini's going to hold it in here. Going to go up the side wall, looking for another touch. Can't find it. And Stin has time to dribble that out.
And the question is, as we get into our final 30 seconds here, not impossible for Ohio Northern to come back, but highly improbable unless this is a goal right here, and it is. A little bit of caster curse in real time. But, moving forward, what are the adjustments you think we need to see? In my opinion, we need to see Ohio Northern fight for possession a little more at midfield and start to stuff these passing lanes in front of their box, because Doc J, as you said, is just, unreal with his field awareness and his dimes.
Yeah, I think midfield pressure, midfield controls, definitely important. I would like to see them go back to being a little more physical. The first goal they scored came off the back of 2 demos that really gave them the midfield control and the ability to push up. And I think it caught Michigan State White on some awkward boost refills in an awkward place in rotations. So going back to that physical play could be good for Ohio Northern. But the first step is midfield control so that they can force their way into these physical plays, instead of just being stuck on their back line as Michigan State White pushes forward at them pretty much constantly throughout the game.
Yeah, have to fully agree with you there. And, we take a look at the shots, 9-9. So Ohio Northern, really stepped it up, 4 saves to 4 saves. It was that first half. And you have to question, little cold, were they maybe a little bit of nerves coming into play, because they looked like a different team the second half of the game. They were outscored 3-0 in that first half, and they actually outscored Michigan State 2-1 in the second half of the game. So it's always the question, did Michigan State let off the gas a little bit, start to play a little more passive and just coast out the win, or did Ohio Northern start to make those mid-game adjustments? And I think those questions will be answered here when we start game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. I'm going to say it's pretty early in terms of college student daytime. Ohio Northern could still be trying to get adjusted here, get acclimated. We've already talked about it. There's pressure. So is Ohio Northern feeling the pressure a little bit? Are they going to be able to settle in here as we get into game number 2? Doc J with a fake, going for the flick to the backboard. J-Rupp able to clear that, and looks like a little more controlled possession, and J-Rupp wins that 50. Ohio Northern on the board first.
big dunk at the midfield here from J-Rep, just big body as can be. And as we said, that, midfield pressure, that battling for, control. We love to see it. Ohio Northern going to start the scoring, and they needed that one, Philly.
Yeah, they need that first lead of the series. I liked that Ohio Northern took the slow play. It was the air dribble out of their own zone. We talked about a little bit in game one where Ohio Northern wasn't having chances, and we're just going to bury another one here from Kip. A pass from Stin that goes off the ceiling, and Ohio Northern's firing on all cylinders. This is the exact opposite game two as what we saw in game one.
Yeah, and they're even getting to it, seemingly a little bit quicker, but 23 seconds in, 2 goals, couple quick ones. Ohio Northern, they've made the adjustments. Now it's time for Michigan State White, and that might have caught them a little bit off guard. They might have thought it was just going to continue in their favor, but we've certainly seen a big momentum shift here.
And Brandini not able to find a touch there. Doc J's shot's going to be saved away by Stin. Stin going down the line. And so far here, the slow plays, the possession plays here from Ohio Northern seem to be catching Michigan State White off guard a little bit. Silent, though, going to go for a possession play of their own. Can't get back to it, though. Stin's going to hold the midfield. And Ohio Northern doing what we talked about, Zen holding midfield. A lot more midfield presence in game two.
Yeah, exactly what they needed. And you kind of talked about it. The off-ball pressure has been huge as Silent going to pick up a Savior medal not even 90 seconds in. 4 shots here for Ohio Northern, 3 saves for a Silent. I don't know how that math works with them having 2 goals, but a lot of pressure coming out of Ohio Northern here. Doc J looking to do what he does best, diamond up Brandini. Brandini going to get the touch, but still circling our Michigan State Silent. With the chip back out to Brandini. Brandini just peppering the net, and they're doing a great job of getting these second opportunities. This time, Jared will clear it away, but it's brief. Silent 50 to, my goodness, we're starting to see Michigan State White step up this pressure.
Hip, awkward touch, goes to Doc J, and gets the double commit, but it's a good pinch save that gets all the way back to the midfield, so the double commit won't hurt Ohio Northern too much. J-Rup over 1. Doc J sends it back the other way. Doc J with another 50 and is now finally forced to retreat on low boost. Brandini holds it in at the midfield. And again, we're approaching halftime. 2 goals separate the teams, but we're the other side of this looking to knot things up here. 1 game apiece, Ohio Northern is.
And my goodness, Ohio Northern just having immense trouble getting this out past the half field. Every time it gets to that midfield mark, it's just sent right back at their net. As Silent does find another dunk. J-Rup, little touch out, but it's going to be to Brandini. Uncle Stin finally finding the clear that's going to go the other way. Immediately dunked by Silent. Kip didn't like the looks of it, though. He started to go up, but saw Doc J had the beat. Nice touch from J-Rup at the midfield. Little 50 in the box. Brandini going to go the other way. Might have the 1v1 here. Didn't have to say. He must not have had much boost right there because he just kind of gave up possession, and sure enough, on 0.
J-Rup trying to get it over. Can't get it past Doc J, though. Big pinch from Stin, but too hard for Kip to follow up. And Ohio Northern just letting the time tick down. Really happy to see the ball on the orange half as much as possible with this insurance goal that they have. Uncle Stin, did he find one? No, it's going to go wide.
I thought for sure that one was just going to roll in the net. Would have been heartbreaking for the side of Michigan State because they have absolutely been turning this up, Philly. Doc J again looking for that pass. Silent. Didn't like the look of it, but will recompose themselves. Finds the next pass, Brandini. Little pot shot on. Easy save from Kip. And yeah, you said it best right now, Ohio Northern. They're okay with just running this clock down. They have that insurance goal. Final minute, J-Rep, Uncle Stin, the placement. Good shot right behind the defender. 3-0 with a minute left.
3-0. Good pass here from J-Rup to find Uncle Stin right at the top of the box. And 3-0. Ohio Northern really just in the exact same position we saw Michigan State White in game 1.
Yeah.
And this goes to show how close these teams are, why we're in this tiebreaker situation in the first place, as these teams look to go back and forth here early in the best of 7 series. And thank goodness it's a best of 7, Zen.
Yeah, absolutely. And essentially going to be a best of 5 after this one. Both teams, taking a dub outside of a miracle here from Michigan State White. But we would like to see them pick up, a little bit of a consolation goal. We saw what that can do momentum-wise for Ohio Northern. I have to say, I feel I kind of called it Ohio Northern. Maybe it was nerves, maybe it was cold hands, or as you said, it's very early in the day, but they're looking like a different team. They looked like a different team in the second half of game one, despite still taking the L, but they came out absolutely swinging here, and I mean, they're dominating.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the big changes here was the fact that Ohio Northern was able to really kind of quiet Doc J. He had the 1 goal on 1 shot and the 3 assists in game number 1. And here he only has 3 shots, no goals, no assists, no saves. So Doc J really held in check there by Ohio Northern, and I think that was the big difference in game number 2.
Yeah, and obviously, the defense for Ohio Northern really stepping up. We see Silent with 4 big saves. Ohio Northern actually had the less shots, 7-8, so they were only outshot by 1, but they were able to pick up 6 saves. And typically, 6 saves on 8 shot attempts. I would say one of my favorite lines. Anybody hears me hear me say it all the time. Very fatiguing way to play, but they weren't, great shot attempts. They were a lot of pot shots. They were a lot of textbook saves. So, Ohio Northern, they'll be able to continue that. And it's crazy because Michigan State had that creativity. They had that ingenuity. They had those absolute dimes. And we would like to see them go back to that a little bit. But I don't think it was so much what they were doing wrong necessarily and what Ohio Northern was doing right.
Absolutely. We're headed to Sovereign Heights here for game number 3 as we get loaded in. This is one of the most pivotal games in a best of 7 series is game 3. It's going to see who's going to go up 2-1 here, take a lead. Can Michigan State White regain it? Here's Enter. Will Ohio Northern have their first lead in the series?
Well, I tell you, Michigan State White, they need to do something early here. They need to grab that momentum, and I give them a caster blessing in real time. Doc J, another dime. This time he's going to find the pass and the bump. Great off-ball pressure, and I think that's every game here. We've had a goal within the first 15 seconds.
Yeah, game 1, goal in 10 seconds. Game 2, goal in 11 seconds. Game, and Brandini's just able to bury that one off kickoff. I didn't get to say it because I got interrupted in game 1, but it looked like Michigan State White had some kickoff strats that they were going for. Yeah, and I think we just saw that come back where they were able to get an easy goal off a kickoff. And I'll be interested to see how that kind of continues through the series, because if you can score pretty reliably on some kickoffs, that's a great offense, and that makes it super hard on your opponent when you're just getting a free goal off a kickoff.
Yeah. It certainly does, especially in threes, right? Ones can be a little bit of a kickoff simulator. Twos, kickoffs, goals can matter a lot more. Threes, it can be very, very tough to find those kickoff goals because typically somebody is back. But I tell you what here, Philly, it was a nice dunk from Kip J. Ripped the pre-flip off the post and out. But this is a straight battle of momentum. I mean, we saw it. Michigan State grabbed it early in game 1, ran away with that game. Ohio Northern, took it right back to them. But here in game 3, they seem to have it back as Brandini. A nice dunk on the goal line. But again, the post going to be a very reliable defender on both sides of the pitch.
Doc J able to win the race to that ball up high, but J. Rupp is on the goal line to hold that out. J. Rupp flick to Stin. Stin with the shot. Saved away by Doc J as Michigan State White looks to keep their clean sheet here in game 3. Kip looking for a pass. Can't get a good bounce. Silent with a clear. J. Rupp back in front and cleared away by Doc J. Danger over for Michigan State White for the moment.
And I tell you, Doc J is just the commander on the pitch for Michigan State. I mean, whatever role he needs to fill is Kip. Oh, almost lined up the nasty double tap. If he needs to be the playmaker, he does that. If he needs to be, the defensive backbone, he just becomes impregnable. And if he needs to score, shoot, we see him do that as well. So I think we're going to see Ohio Northern. They're going to need to find an answer for Doc J. And maybe it's some more of that physical play. It's Uncle Stent just missing. Kip going to keep possession here for Ohio Northern. Nice clear from Bradini, though, and that will stop that offensive push.
J. Rupp off the backboard, going to get dunked, but going to be able to stay with it. Gets another touch. That kind of caught Silent off there a little bit, but able to get a touch to prevent it from going all the way to his backboard and hold it in at midfield. Stin looks to go around Bradini, gets bumped off the ball, but sends it to the backboards. Booming clear by Silent.
Eesh.
And Stin slows it down here. Low boost. Can't do much more than take a 50. Loses it to Silent. Not the 50 you want there if you're Stin, but Kip is able to bail him out and get a big clear there.
Oh, and a little bit of teamwork just to buy some time here. Doc is going to snatch the boost, gives the bump back. 2 bumps. Oh, this one doesn't find the net, but Doc J, that's what he's doing. He's getting into his bag here. He said, okay, the dimes aren't enough now. I need to find the pass and the bump, and that's giving Ohio Northern a little trouble on their goal line. Big dunk here. J-Rupp looking for the clear. Brandini going to stay on it. Off the ceiling to Doc. Doc, the snipe off the post. This time it's going to roll in, and my goodness, this is so back and forth here, Philly. Not necessarily the games, but the series.
Oh, yes, the series is going back and forth, and Kip caught out there, left the back post a little bit too early, and was put in an awkward spot by that super pinpoint shot there by Doc J. So 3-goal lead, and so far, all 3 games have had one team or the other up by 3 at some point.
Yep. And that's crazy. I mean, you don't typically see that a lot as Uncle Stent looking for the air dribble. Can't quite find it, though. Just a bit off. Now Silent looking to find his way out of defense. Good transition here as he does beat 2. Just has 1 more to beat. Can't do it. But this is going to leave Ohio Northern in a tough spot. Doc J finds the timeout to Bradini. Good read by J-Rupp right there to meet that at the point of contact. Now Kip going ground to air. The bump attempt from J-Rupp. Big play right there, and it couldn't have came sooner.
Yeah, it was a great play by J-Rupp. He doesn't connect on the bump there, but does force Silent to jump late.
Yep.
To avoid the bump, and that allowed the goal to go over top. So Ohio Northern on the board here. They have not been shut out in this series, where they have actually successfully shut out Michigan State White in game 2. So that is in their favor. J-Rupp off the backboard looking for Stin. Stin goes around 1, but it's going to get the ball taken away by Silent with a quick shot. Kip forced into action with a save. Doc J, tough angle. He finds it. Bottom corner. 3-goal lead restored. Michigan State White.
And Doc J, I mean, just an absolute jack of all trades. And typically it's a jack of all trades, master of none. But I don't think we can say that here, as he's 2 of 3 on his shooting, 2 assists, and a Savior medal to boot. Again, he's just doing everything he possibly can on the pitch here. And I can't say it enough. That's the type of teammate you want.
Yeah, Doc J continues the streak of 100% goal participation here for Michigan State White. Carries it over from game 1. He is now he's been involved in all 8 goals for Michigan State. And he's looking for more here off the sidewall. Gets the flip reset. And the change up with the flip reset almost catches Ohio Northern out. Stin able to pinch it off the post to keep it 4-1 Michigan State White as we are headed to game number 4, Zen.
And that was a great analysis from you. As if Bradini would have hit that, there would have been Doc J would have not had 100% goal participation. But that's a great analysis from you. I didn't even pick that up. You're right. All 8 goals. He scored 3 of them and assisted 5 of them while picking up about 2 to 3 saves a game each time. And we see this time not close on the shooting. Every game's been very, very close. This time unreal 16 shots to 6. So Michigan State White outshooting them by 10, by double digits. That's pretty crazy. We're going to have to see Ohio Northern, despite picking up 7 saves, that's not enough when you're outshot by 10.
Yeah, both teams do have their timeouts available. This is a best of 7 series, so Ohio Northern could elect to use it. I'm assuming that we haven't heard it so far, so they're probably not using it here after game 3.
Right.
But if Ohio Northern falls in game 4, I would expect the timeout to come out. It's their season on the line. You want to try and break momentum. And as we've pointed out, specifically you, Zen, in early in game 3, this is a battle of momentum, it appears. Yeah. And that extra time to slow down Michigan State with a timeout may come in handy here later in the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, they take the full minute, in between matches, and that kind of is almost an impromptu timeout sometimes. That certainly gives you enough time to talk about what you need to talk about. I think the big thing with the timeout is it's added to that, and sometimes it can kind of almost ice the team that has all that momentum.
Yep. If the trend continues, we're due for a goal here in about 3 seconds. It's not going to continue, though, as for the first time this series, we will not have a goal in the first 15 seconds. Doc J sends one to the corner, trying to find one in the first 20, but can't. Brandini to the backboard. Stin called into action up high to clear that away. J Rupp to Stin. Stin has a Kip in the middle, but can't get the touch, and Brandini's going to slow it down for Michigan State White.
And this is an absolute vital game for Ohio Northern. They cannot drop this one. They can't go down 3-1 right here. It's not where they want to be. Doc J, a long shot on. J Rupp will be there to take possession straight into an air dribble. Is able to beat one, but Doc J, again, just being an absolute thorn in the side of Ohio Northern. And, I can't say it enough. That's the type of teammate you want on the pitch. He does it everything he's doing right.
Absolutely. Stin able to get a touch away. Can't find another one, though, so we'll just leave it for J Rupp. J Rupp off the sidewall. Big bump here, opening up the field for J Rupp, but Doc J is able to get the recover off of the bump. And we are back and forth. This is the first game that has seen the teams tied at all past the first 20 seconds. Uncle Stin breaks the tie, though, and Ohio Northern looks to keep the trend of first team to score, wins the game as we approach halftime here in about a minute, Zen.
And just a heartbreaking Post Malone from Silent right there. His front tires came off of the backboard, so when he held back and jumped, forced them to backflip. Ohio Northern needed that goal, though. As we said, they have to tie it. They don't have to, but it's very, very likely if they drop this game, they won't be able to come back in this series. They'll have to score 3 straight. Not impossible, just highly improbable. So them scoring first is huge. Kip looking to go up 2-0, but will be denied. Somehow no save credited. Uncle Stin looking to take possession at mid. Does find the pass to Kip. Kip on target. J Rupp the cleanup, but Doc J, who else is there to deny?
Brandini around 1, but it will just be a pass to Uncle Stin, who's going to air dribble it, wins the 50 against Silent. It will be Brandini collecting Kip to the backboard. Doc J taking the time with the air dribble, wins the 50, can stay on this ball. Actually, Stin is able to pinch that away from him, and it goes back the other way. We're back and forth here for the first time, Zen. Brandini able to get up to prevent that air dribble from scoring.
And I like the quick jump. Brandini saw the threat of the demo coming, and oftentimes you just have to go in that situation. If not, you're an absolute sitting duck. And because of that field awareness, that quick reaction, they're not down 2-0, but still down 1-0 as this game's, going by very quickly, getting into the final 2 minutes. Brandini, a little bit of boost. We'll find the quick flip. J-Rupp there to interrupt it, but it's right to Doc J. Doc J trying to find the 50, probably going into a bump as well. We know he's been doing such a good job of that, but it seems that Ohio Northern are starting to keep their head on a swivel and not allowing him to just kind of bully them in the goal line as the team pitch. It's got to find its way past Silent. Big play from Ohio Northern.
Yeah, all 3 members on the blue half of the field for Michigan State White, and the pinch goal finds the bottom corner. And Ohio Northern extends their lead. They've got an insurance goal, 1:45 to go here in this game 4. And you just feel so much better about your chance of winning a best of 7 when you're tied 2-2 versus down 3-1.
Yes.
So this is a huge mental game here for Ohio Northern. Uncle Stin going to get bumped, though. Still plenty of time for Michigan State White to fight their way back into this game, though. Kip just stalling, gets it around 1. Brandini holds it in. Gonna bump Uncle Stin here. No one home for Ohio Northern. Doc J buries it over Uncle Stin. And that is the goal Michigan State White needed to try and get this game back within arm's reach, Zen.
Yeah, they did. Chipping away at that insurance goal. And I want to reverse back to that last goal from Kip. I said it was a team pinch. It wasn't. It was an ill-timed 50 that turned into a pinch into their own net, and I believe it was Doc J, one of the first crucial mistakes we've seen him make. So he gets it right back, though, off the kickoff. Little bit of an opportunity squandered there for Michigan State White. Kip looking to work in the corner, can't get around it, briefly had an open net, but Ohio Northern looking to take it to him and regain that insurance goal here in the final minute. J-Rup looking to get flashy with the flip reset, can't quite find it. Kip off the crossbar and out, now Silent. Looking to get something going, does find the big dunk. Tough read for Doc J, who does get a touch on it, but just absolutely sends it barreling back to midfield there.
Doc J moving forward, sends it to the backboard. Big demo there.
Double demo.
J-Rupp, double demo, stalling out the Michigan State White offense. No boost for Silent, but he doesn't need it. And that is going to hit the crossbar, down and out. That was the chance for Michigan State White to get us knotted at 2 apiece in here in game 4, Zen.
Yeah, they want that one back, though. I will say Kip just also missed one off the crossbar, so at least there was a little bit even there. You know, the Rocket League gods not taking sides, as, oh no, I think it was Brandini right there, rotating back ball side, gets in the way of his own teammate. That's going to shut down their last chance. J-Rup finds the dunk. Doc J has to keep this one up. Oh, I'm surprised J-Rup, is he going to keep this up for him? But Doc won't be able to get there, and we have our first 1-goal differential in the scoreline. Ohio Northern, though, will make this essentially a best of 3. And you mentioned, Philly, you know, how pivotal game number 3 is. This game 5 is very, very important, especially when we're tied 2-2. Oftentimes, the winner of this game will move on to take the series.
Yeah, you give yourself 2 games to close out the series here. Whoever wins game 5 when it's tied at 2 apiece. So that is a big advantage because you don't have the pressure in game 6 that you have as the team down 3-2.
Exactly.
Want to go back to the crossbar, giving Michigan State White life, and then immediately taking it away. Because both teams had chances denied by the crossbar back to back there in the final minute. So if you're Michigan State White and Ohio Northern, you wanted both of those goals back, but Ohio Northern, they're able to forget about it. They won the game. Michigan State might have a little lingering thought of what could have been, though, on that shot to force overtime. So headed to game number 5. Both teams still have timeouts in their pocket, and it's Manfield Dusk, Zen.
And I'm excited for it. I have to say, you know, 3 shots that time. 3 shots from Michigan State, all coming from Doc J. They went from 16 shots the game before to 3, with all of the shots coming from one teammate. I mean, that's unreal. Ohio Northern absolutely controlled the midfield, and they only picked up 5 shots of their own, but it was enough to take the dub, and we have to see Michigan State, you know, break out of that. They can't be held to under 5 shots.
Absolutely. Michigan State White. Doc J continued the run. 9 goals for Michigan State White in the series. 9 goals or assists for Doc J. Looking for another one to make it 10. Silent is going to be denied there on the goal line. Stin 1v1 versus Brandini cleared away here. And Doc J moving forward low on boost. Gets another touch. Midfield, no one there for Michigan State White to cut that out, so it will move the other way, Zen.
On a free clear from Doc. Doc looking for Brandini. Brandini got a little in front of it, so he goes for the bump, allowing Doc J to find an absolute disgusting dunk on the goal line right there. And my goodness, I mean, Philly, this cannot be more back and forth. This is unreal.
Doc J wins that 50 just by sheer momentum.
Yeah.
He was the one flying into the ball rather than trying to catch the ball on the goal line. So Doc J wins that 50. And that is now the 10 goal for 10 goals participation there for Doc J.
I mean, absolutely unreal. Kip, no boost, looking for the clear out. He does find J-Rup, who does find the nice redirect. Kip didn't have the boost, but he changed up onto a goal line. Doc J, big time save. Uncle Sten looking to take this back here. We'll be working off the backboard. Silent looking for the bump, but he's going to be very upfield with low boost. Brandini low boost as well, and typically I don't like to see teams give up possession, but that was a smart long clear from Doc J right there, Philly, because both of his teammates overextended with no boost.
Yep. Kip with a banger here over Doc J's head, and Kip finds the back of the net from midfield. What a pass here from Stin, dotting up Kip at the halfway line, upper 90, perfect placement, and this is the first time we are tied at anything but 0-0 in the series.
And I mean, that for that to come in game number 5 is crazy, but it just goes to show both teams are warm now. Both teams are locking in. They know what's at stake. They know just how important this game number 5 is. We do get a little bit of a double commit there. Uncle Sin will be back in time. Doc J gonna delete Kip off the pitch. Should buy some time here for Michigan State. As Brandini does find a nice 50. Kip has to survive, trying to slow it down here. He does a good job as he knew he was between a rock and a hard place. J-Rub almost able to snipe an open net there. I was surprised not to see anybody back from Michigan State right there.
Yeah, smart try from J-Rup to try and find it on target, knowing no one was back, but not able to get it low enough to go under the crossbar. Silent trying to go for a solo play, not able to find it. J-Rup with the save on that testing Doc J shot. And Doc J all the way back now, looking for the 50 on Stin. Does win it, able to get it around to Silent. Can't find the flick over J-Rup, and we are back and forth here. Game 5, season on the line for these two teams in this series.
And I have to say, no matter what happens, but let me hold that thought, Brandini gonna find the third goal of the game, second for Michigan State White to regain the lead. But again, Doc J, the first goal he didn't score or get an assist on, but believe me, that goal went in because of him. In my book, he's still 100% goal participation because that was a big demo on the goal line to open up the net for his teammate.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Rocket League doesn't recognize demos as a form of assist, even though it very much is and can be the sole reason a goal goes in. So Doc J, awkward touch, able to hold it out enough, though, for his team to recover. Big demo from Doc J, going for another one. Can't find it. Nobody there on the back post for Ohio Northern, and Stin is going to delay. Gets bumped here. Double bump, double commit from Ohio Northern. Doc J to Brandini, open net.
It's open.
And there it is. 2-goal lead opened up for Michigan State, and we have not seen a team come back from a double 2-goal or more lead here in a game so far this series.
Yeah, that's once again, astute analysis right there. I love it. And Doc J getting involved again. And I tell you, like, I don't want to hype this man up too much, but my goodness, he does everything right. When he needs to score, he can score. He's efficient on his shooting. He finds the assist. We've already talked about now he's, been either scored or assisted 12 of the 13 shots, the 13th coming off of a demo from him. But his off-ball pressure has been unreal as well. He continues to find those organic demos in the net. Silent to Doc to behind J-Rup and Doc J. My goodness. I was going to say it was getting to be a bit of the Doc J Brandini show here in game number 5, but Silent getting involved there, finding a great assist.
Yeah, great little give and go there. Doc J to Silent. Silent goes right back to Doc J and able to find a touch on target around the goaltender. So it will be a 3-goal lead here for Michigan State White. But looking to take game number 5 and go to double match point when we go to game number 6 here in just under a minute now.
And it's going to be a tough minute here for Ohio Northern as they have to find 3 goals, not to win, but to find the equalizer. Nice dunk here in the box, Kip. Oh, Doc J again with off-ball pressure finds the demo, but I like that challenge from Uncle Stin. Brandini getting in the mix, just slowing it down, allowing Silent to take possession here. Silent working off the ceiling, and I believe again the bump attempt this time. Brandini gonna finish it up. Silent picking up his second assist here. What a play.
All right, and that is officially the first goal that Doc J had zero involvement in. No bumps, no demos, no touches. So there is a streak ended. Not even a demo involvement there. So Michigan State White finding other ways to score other than Doc J facilitating, which is a good sign for them going on to game 6 in this series, as they pretty much have game number 5 buttoned up, just waiting for the clock to hit 0 now.
They do. I mean, 20 seconds. Don't see any type of comeback here. And I would be very, very surprised if we don't see the timeout used from Ohio Northern, as Brandini saying we don't need Doc J for every goal here. He's going to slow it down in front of the box. Use that little backflip flick to pull the double commit. It couldn't be more wide open for Silent. And I want to highlight, Silent had 58 points with about 90 seconds left and picks up 2 assists, a goal, and a save in that time. Unreal.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a time where you want a timeout here. If you're Ohio Northern, they seem discombobulated in the last minute or so, looking for a play to try and find another goal for the road. They can't find it. Ball hits the ground, and Ohio Northern on their final life here in this GL-CRL season. And they need to find 2 in a row now. Something no team has done in this series. And
yeah, that's a very, very good point. It's been just back and forth, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them that continue. The problem is that's in favor of Michigan State. They took game 1. So if that continues, and I want to highlight, they pick up 11 shots. They outshoot them 11-7. But we just saw Michigan State White go from 16 shots in game 3, 3 shots in game 4, back to double digits, 11 shots in game number 5. I mean, this has been a crazy series, but we have to see Ohio Northern. You said it best. They got very discombobulated second half of that game. It was neck and neck. We saw our first 1-1 goal, tied up game in this entire series, and something just clicked for Michigan State. And I want to say, I think it was Silent stepping up. He was, not to be cliche, but he was silent through the first 3 minutes of that game and was anything but to finish it out.
Yeah, I think Silent, you're right. Silent was the difference maker for Michigan State White there in that game 5. Really turned on the pressure, and getting that third man involved made it all the difference for Michigan State White, and really took some of the pressure off of Doc J. Not having to be involved in every single goal. So I think looking for that here in game number 6, as Michigan State looking for some early pressure, early shot, bounce shot, can't find the target. Kip able to prevent that from going upper 90, and back the other way goes Ohio Northern just for a moment though, as Silent was able to interrupt.
And again, we're starting to see a little lack of composure on the goal line here from Ohio Northern. They did survive early. Counterattack going the other way though. Doc J finds the 50, bumped off the ball, but it will give Brandini a little bit of space. Quick flick, J-Rup. This is bad. Doc J had to go quick with it though, and that's what I think he wants back. I think 9 out of 10 times he sinks that one in the back of the net.
J-Rup up quick enough to deny a shot there. Kip, no boost to follow, so Silent will collect. J-Rup just misses the demo to prevent Silent's push forward. Kip sends it awkwardly into the midfield. Stin called into action to get the knock-on touch. Gets it all the way down the field. And we are now back and forth. Another game here where we don't have an early goal. Full minute gone, Zen, as we approach 3.5 left in game 6.
And I tell you, I think we're starting to see a little bit of nerves come into play, because we're seeing the most ping pong action that we've seen in this entire series. Neither side, wanting to make a mistake, but what happens with that is neither side wants to take much of a risk. And, when you stop looking for those dimes, you just try to clear it out of your side of the pitch. that's when it becomes tough to score. And I think it's going to come down to, who finds the goal first if we continue this way.
Absolutely. Brandini trying to get up over the top, can't get all the way over, so the 50 falls to J-Rupp, and Brandini first to that ball at midfield, holds it in. Doc J infield, no one there for Michigan State White, so cleared away. Silent back and forth, and this is the sustained pressure we saw from Michigan State White in game one, and as I say, that Kip finally able to break it, gets it all the way into the Michigan State White corner.
Big dunk from Doc Jankleston. Looking to take possession. Does get dunked, but it's right to J-Rupp. Silent off the ceiling, though. Big dunk. Starting to see some pressure mount here for Michigan State White. And Doc J getting back in the mix. Big dime here from Brandini. What a play.
And that is unfortunate for Ohio Northern. Felt like they had that play controlled in the corner.
Yeah.
But the ball is able to squirt free in front. And of course, who else but Doc J is there to score and put Michigan State White up. That could be potentially the series winning goal. Doc J flip reset, finds another, and Ohio Northern seems like they are right back to where they were at the end of game 5. No answers for Doc J.
Yeah, he has been, just instrumental, no doubt, the MVP on the pitch so far. Playing so well. 2:18 left, though. Just a single insurance goal, but we're going to have to see something out of Ohio Northern, who are yet to find a shot here. They have 2 saves, but both shots they didn't save did find the back of the net. And as I said, might start to see a little bit of nerves coming into play here, as we know, this is their season on the line.
J-Rupp first to this. Kip looking for a bump, can't find it on the silent. Kip leaves there. I would have like to try and see him get a redirect touch to Stin, but elect to just try and rotate out. You're down 2 goals with a couple minutes to go. In this potential elimination, as Kip keeps it at 2 goals here for Ohio Northern. Getting a little nervous on the goal line, Ohio Northern is.
Indeed, 90 seconds left. Michigan State White would love to just continue to burn this clock down. Doc J, the pass, the bump, but a big-time clear right there. And this is going to leave them in a 2v1 right here. Doc J does stand strong, though. Nice clear, Brandini. Counterattack will be wide. Uncle Sten forced to just clear this away, and it's going to allow Michigan State White to keep possession silent. Using up all of his boost for that, and I like the fake challenge from Doc J there. They don't need to score in this moment, and he knew his teammate was up, overextended, not much boost in the tank.
Going to be Doc J collecting it on the sidewall. Time now definitely in Michigan State White's favor. Doc J just moving the ball down the field methodically, taking his time. Time ticking away here on Ohio Northern, who needs 2 goals to try and force overtime and have a chance to force game 7. Kip around 1, can't get around the other. Doc J hems it in, and smart touch there, just sends it to the backboard and waits. Trying to be 3 members behind the ball for Michigan State. No easy goal for Ohio Northern. J-Rupp to the backboard. Brandini gets a clear, and that should just about do it, Zen, as we hit the final 10 seconds.
And of course, Doc J, 2 of 2 on the shooting. Only 6 shots for Michigan State White. 1 shot this game for Ohio Northern. They absolutely locked them in, as Silent gonna pick up the 3rd goal with a second left. And I think that makes 2 goals out of about 18 that Doc J wasn't involved in. And we have to say, keep an eye on this, man. Not to take away from, Brandini and Silent, as they played their part very, very well today. But my goodness, I'm just very curious to know, was he peaking today, or is this typical? Because if this is what we have to look forward to, keep an eye on this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Also brings the question, Doc J on the white team for Michigan State, could he potentially move up to the Michigan State green team and take that team to another level? Of course, that's conversations they have to have internally, but just the way he played today, in my opinion, I feel like he would fit in great on that Michigan State green team and could potentially take them to another level. Any other recap here from you, Zen, before we pull Bub back in and go back to panel to get his thoughts?
Nah, yeah, I'm very excited to pull him back in and make him eat our words about consistency. I want to talk about consistency. Look at my man Doc J. What do you think of Up?
Well, I think to start, first and foremost, I owe you guys an apology. So there's that. But no, there's a reason, right, why Michigan State has been so good this second half of the season, and I'm gonna give props again. We talked to Jimmer earlier today.
Yeah,
the work that he has put in with those boys, you can see it. They get better every single time that they play. I mean, they went from being a team that, I don't have the stats up right now, but being 1 or 2 rounds out of qualifying to now they're a top 12 team in the spring semester. So huge congratulations to Michigan State White. There's not much more I can say other than good luck. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks, because yeah, you guys earned that. Doc J was outstanding. It just felt for a long time in that series that Michigan State just had the pressure. They had shot after shot after shot, and Ohio Northern would still punch back. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when it came down to who was better today, I don't think there was any question.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and I think it all really changed, in Game 5. That's where we saw it really change. It was very back and forth up until that point. The series could have went anywhere, but they just took control. I believe they won 6-1 in Game 5. After it was tied 1-1 with like 2 minutes left, they scored, 5 goals in the final 90 seconds or so of that game, and I just don't think we ever saw Ohio Northern recover. They only had one shot, in that game number 6. So yeah, and Ohio Northern, no slouches at all. There's a reason they were, that close to being in the top 12. Great team. They left it all out on the pitch, but today was all Michigan State White. My goodness. And big shout out again to Doc J. What a performance.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say, right? I mean,
yeah,
just they showed up on the day. They've been putting the work in, and they got the result they earned. So we'll see them in a couple weeks. As for Ohio Northern, this is the end to their season, and one I think that they'll at the end of the day look back on and go, the league was a lot harder this year than it was last year. I think they can look back and hold their heads high knowing that they left everything out there on the table today.
Yep.
So that being said, I think we're kind of all in decision. If we had to pick a series MVP, it's 100% Doc J. Especially, I mean, I looked away there for a minute when you said it was 1-1, and I looked back and it was 6-1. And I looked back in the very next game and he's flip resetting on these boys. Yep. So yeah, Doc J was feeling good. He's probably one of the best players at that school. Period. He's very, very good, especially for that Michigan State White team, and they proved it today that they deserve to be here. So again, congratulations to Michigan State White.
And I want to know, I'm very curious, if he broke any type of records there, because he had to have, in about 20 goals, he had to have had roughly 90% or maybe even higher goal participation, which is an unreal stat. And to boot, he had multiple Savior medals through that time as well. So, I mean, again, I don't want to hype him too much, but, I mean, I would have to be hating not to.
On that note, I do kind of want to get your guys' thoughts. How far do you think this white team goes in a couple weeks at the major?
Tough. I think if we see a team sneak into the top 8 that isn't already in there, I think it's them after watching that.
I think I would have to agree.
I think I need to see the bracket. They're the 12th seed, so I'm not sure.
True.
I want to see exactly who they potentially could play in the first lower bracket round. But I think they definitely have a chance of getting out of that lower bracket, outside of bottom 12 into the top 8. So I think that is definitely a possibility for them, especially if Doc J brings it like he did today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say they can absolutely punch up and take out a team that is top 8 that may have, lack of a better term, stumbled in. May have shown some flaws, some chinks in the armor coming into this event. So I definitely think Michigan State White's a team that you can't count out. I definitely think they'll make themselves known, even though this is the spring major is their last event of the season. They've already been mathematically eliminated from LAN. Now this is just playing spoiler and making statements against the rest of the league of we'll be back.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing, right? You got nothing left to lose at this point. You're just playing for pride. So put everything out there. Hope that it goes well. I mean, we heard Jimmer talk about there is no such thing as losing. They always are pulling something from a series, finding ways to move forward. So this is just another step in the process for them. That being said, I'm not sure if I have much left to say. Again, thank you for all who showed up for the Lake Talk episode we had earlier at 1 o'clock. You just witnessed the Great Lakes CRL first ever tiebreaker. First of all, but the tiebreaker for the Spring Major for season 2. Michigan State White, congratulations. Ohio Northern, we'll see you guys soon. Outside of that, my name's Bub. I've been joined by Zen and Philly. Do you guys have any other closing comments, or are we good?
Just thank you so much for letting me be here, and sorry for always jumping in front of Philly. But no, thank you so much for being here, and I think it's amazing to be a part of not only the podcast but the first ever tiebreaker, and I couldn't have thought of anybody better to share the booth with than Philly for that one.
Yeah, it was a great time. I'm happy we got almost a full series, game 6.
Yeah,
happy went more than 5. So. Great best of 7 series. Again, congratulations, Michigan State White, for qualifying to Spring Major, and Ohio Northern. We hope to see you next year on the pitch in fall for GLCRL Fall Minor 1.
That being said, again, thank you all for tuning in. My name's Bub, joined by Zen Zero and Philly. We will see you guys all on March 23rd at 5 p.m. Eastern for the beginning of the Spring Major. Have a good one, y'all.